Right.
Yes. We also know that the universe is expanding.
Who said it's 14 billion years, and how do they know that?
Oh, I think they know by the radiation and so on. So
Okay.
you know, by radiation they can tell the age.
Yeah, because I'm not a big history believer.
Well, this is science.
This is science,
Yes.
which science history, right? So
Well,
it's still.
Yeah. So I'm not a scientist.
I know scientists
either,
might
but
say today, but
there are certain basic things which I do know. I mean, I tend to make mistakes.
It's
and I
like-
hope people correct me if I make mistakes.
it's like on the TV, yeah. If you look at an expert scientist, where I assume these people are saying this, and that we automatically assume the scientist knows, but we realise later on that obviously scientists quite often get a shitload wrong, or they're just lying because
you're absolutely
it's
right.
for agenda.
But the scientists themselves say that what they say is not written in stone.
No.
So this theory is a theory of the Big Bang,
Okay,
theory
yeah.
of evolution.
And
so these
theory
are
of
all
40 million.
hypotheses, which then go through peer reviews and so on. And then they have several models of the universe, not just the Big Bang theory, by the way. They have maybe 7 or 8 other models or something.
Yeah.
And they say that maybe this Big Bang theory is one of the most acceptable.
Most
They don't
likely.
say it's never going to change. They don't say it's set in stone, okay? But they say from all the other models out there, and from the research that we have done, we believe this to be the strongest
This
model
is the strongest.
to our knowledge so far, okay? So they will tell you that the universe began to exist at some point, and it's expanding at present,
Yeah.
and they can tell that by the stars moving, distancing away from each other as time goes by. So they have all these observations by which they postulate these different theories.
But science believe it goes infinite. They believe in infinity, don't they, scientists?
No, infinity is a concept.
Yeah.
So they use these terms infinity in mathematics just for ease of modulation.
Just for
and
understanding.
Yes, it's to make certain formulas and models much more meaningful. So instead of them saying that it is eternal, which is more of a theological terminology, they say infinity.
Okay.
Infinity means they don't know what's the last number. So if I ask you what is the last number, what is the greatest number?
There is
you'll
none.
say, well, numbers are infinite. Because numbers are abstract. Yes?
Numbers will always carry on.
Yeah.
Because there'll always be another number
So
on
the
top of
largest
number.
number and the smallest number both are infinite.
Yeah.
Yes? Whether you go this direction or this direction with a zero in the middle, you'll know that this is something which is infinite. For us to better understand this in a language, we use the term infinite so that we can all be on the same page.
Okay,
So it's for ease of understanding. So now going back to our question, what created God? I told you God by definition. You see, in order for the universe to exist, it needs a creator. It needs someone to bring it into existence. So in the Quran, Allah says about human beings that Allah asks us a hypothetical question. Who created you? Yes? Did you create yourself? Yes? Or were you created from nothing? Or did Allah create you? That means did someone create you? So now when I ask you, did you create yourself? Obviously you'll say no.
No.
If I told you did, you come from nothing, again you'll say no. Because nothing cannot give rise to something in any logical, scientific method of understanding, yes?
Yeah.
Because nothing means the absence of everything. Nothing doesn't even exist. If something doesn't exist,
you can't
how
have
can
nothing
you
for
bring
nothing.
into
I agree with
existence
that.
something does exist? So our reality exists, yes? Now this reality, for example, your consciousness is something which is immaterial. You cannot observe it under a microscope.
No.
Your consciousness is. You know you're alive.
Yeah.
You are able to perceive the reality around you. You're able to perceive that you yourself exist.
Yeah.
Now this comes from, it doesn't come from anything other than your consciousness. Now the scientists call this the hard problem of consciousness. That means they cannot fathom what it is.
Okay.
Because you see, science is limited
Yeah.
in its ability to understand things which are metaphysical. Physical, yes, they'll tell you how, they'll explain things, how things come into being. But what they are not good at is something that they cannot observe, cannot simulate,
They can't
cannot
break apart,
measure.
Destructure, break
And these things are consciousness. And within consciousness, there are things like for example, your emotions.
Yeah.
We say it's a soul. Yes, as people of religion who believe in theology, we use the term soul. So your soul, everything is intrinsic to this. Your emotions, your ability to think, your intellect, your consciousness, all this. All this is within. And none of this, for example, if you ask a scientist, whom do you love more, your girlfriend or your mother? They won't be able to measure that. Neither can they say, oh, you love them equally, because
Yeah,
your
yeah.
love for your mom is different to that of your spouse or your girlfriend or whatever it is, yeah? Now, the reason I'm mentioning these metaphysical things is to highlight the fact that science has limitations. What are its limitations? It can only observe and measure things which are material.
Yeah.
We call it this naturalistic belief. It's kind of a belief, yes. There are certain things that you have to believe, even though it might be like, example, what happened, when did time originate, and all these things, yeah? They say it happened at the Big Bang. Beyond that, we don't know what it is. So sometimes they speculate, yes? Sorry, before the Big Bang, there's something called blank time. I don't want to go into those details.
Okay.
But they know that it had a beginning at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a point,
There's a
they
point.
call it the singularity, at which this time began to exist, space began to exist,
Yeah, yeah.
and Big Bang came into basically happen, and so on. So you see, these limitations of science, trying to decipher the metaphysical, is beyond its scope. Because if we cannot observe something, you cannot postulate anything.
No,
You cannot have any sort of hypothesis or any models or anything. And there are two other things which are very important in science. Without that, science is handicapped: time and space. So you see, beyond the Big Bang, beyond the Planck time, we cannot fathom what happened before that. Yes? Because they don't have these two key factors, space and time.
Yeah, yeah.
And without knowing these two, they cannot have any sort of formulas or hypotheses or
So they're saying, did
theories or whatever.
time exist before?
We believe, yes.
Yeah.
We believe, because you see, God, we believe that God himself created both time and space, in the sense that it is something which is in his control. Yes?
Okay.
Now, the reason I'm bringing you back to God is because that is where we enter the metaphysical realm, which science has no scope, no way. Basically, there's a boundary between them and the metaphysical.
Yeah, yeah.
And all these things, things within yourself they cannot observe. Things within themselves, like consciousness, they cannot tell you what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
They're alone in the cosmos, which
And
is very
they
far away.
never will be
You see
able
what I
to.
mean?
Yeah.
So, if they cannot even tell you and determine what actually, the very factors, the very tools that they use in order to understand and discover and invent things, their intellect,
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
know where that came from.
No.
They don't know where it is from. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So we go back. They will have to somehow concede that they don't know,
They don't know yet.
or they'll have to now go into a realm and scope which is beyond their, their boundaries. They will have to do that in order to understand that.
Yeah.
You see, in order for one to recognize the consciousness, you need to have consciousness in the first place.
Absolutely.
You see
yeah.
what I mean?
We understand
That's why
it.
it's such a hard
well,
problem for them, because they cannot even fathom the thing which tells them that they exist and this reality exists. You see, it is not your mind, it is not the flesh of your brain, yes, or the neurons within that, which are all material, by the way.
yeah.
It is what is beyond that even. It is your very self that keeps you alive, that keeps you ticking, which keeps your intellect and your thoughts intact. Your ability to even dream when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Yes? You might be in very deep sleep, but you're still is functioning. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
All
Our
these things
consciousness is
are,
going.
like I said, beyond the scope.
Yeah.
So now we come to God. So God Almighty, like I said, everything, not God Almighty, the universe, anything that begins to exist must have a cause. So you know the principle of cause and effect? That doesn't apply to God Almighty. Because God, by definition, is eternal. He's uncreated, uncaused. He's intelligent, obviously, because what we see around us is of intelligent design.
Yeah.
Yes, everything that you see has a purpose. From a mosquito to
If it
the
was
greatest
designed,
galaxies.
it's super intelligent, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. And you see everything is
Very
more or
good,
less,
yeah.
it's not in chaos, it's in harmony.
Yeah.
If you look at the cosmos, or if you look at the smallest atom, yes, you see the similarity between the solar system and the atoms?
Yeah.
Yes? So you got the nucleus and the electrons and the neutrons
Yeah.
rotating around it. Look at the sun and the planets rotating. So you got the something which is micro, like the atom, and something that is macro, which is very big and large, like the solar system.
Yeah.
And even beyond that, So if you look at the solar system, and you look at the galaxies, which has hundreds and thousands of solar systems, and you look at the galaxy, which has hundreds and thousands of stars, yes, and there are hundreds and thousands of galaxies out there, and some stars are tens of thousands times bigger than the sun itself.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's mind-boggling, you know? Where did all this come from?
It's all,
No
yeah,
one in
yeah.
their right mind
So,
should admit that it came from nothing. Because it's impossible, inconceivable for all this to come from nothing.
Sorry, can you explain? Sorry, you said it came from nothing. Can you explain what nothing is?
I never said it came from nothing.
You just said it came
No, I
from
didn't.
nothing.
I said
it came from nothing.
It was a
No,
question.
it couldn't come
what
from
was
nothing.
before?
Wait.
Well, yeah, that's the
Before
assumption that nothing
before you
exists.
misinterpret what I said anyone who says that it came from nothing should really think again. Okay?
So what was before the universe?
Like I said, if you want to talk, come in front, please.
Sorry,
Don't
what
shout
was
in my
before
ear.
the universe? Sorry.
What's that?
What was before the universe?
What was before the universe?
Nothing.
Okay. Do you believe in God?
No, ask your question.
I'm-
You're asking a
I need
question
to
with a
know.
question.
I need to know from which angle you're coming.
I don't wish to answer that. Ask
Okay,
your
I want to
question.
talk to him if you don't want to answer my question.
If you
So
can't
going back
answer
to-
that question,
Well,
you're
you won.
You're running away.
You won. Get a
You're
trophy
running.
from there.
But you're running away.
Gone. Okay, so now basically at least you were answering my questions.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a fair discussion, a dialogue, okay? We already discussed what you discussed. Go and watch it on the channel.
You're
Not to
running
you,
away.
I watched
You're
it.
running away.
I said, do you see me running away?
Running away from the
What
question.
language are we speaking?
No, from the question. You're running away from the question. What is nothing?
I don't want to talk
Explain
to you
it.
anyway. You
Tell
seem
me-
like
tell me where you're coming
arrogant
from.
person.
Okay.
Have I
okay.
answered your question already?
The
Oh, now
the biggest question is there a God? So the first biggest
No, no,
question
Like I said, I don't-
tell him where you're coming from.
Let me go back to you because I want to finish the discussion with
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so with regards to guys, please. With regards to what he's asking, we have already discussed. Do you agree?
Yeah.
So if he wants to go and watch the channels, it's up to him.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what I want to ask you is that if all the universe, which has a purpose, which has a meaning, yes, if it came into existence, and we know it didn't come from nothing, where did it come from? That's the question. Because everything that begins to exist, has a cause. Cause, what you see the universe is an effect. So what was the cause that caused this?
Does God have a cause?
See, this is the thing I don't know.
You don't
Like, I know you're going to say, well, it's got to go for something,
No,
so
that's
there's
fine.
God.
In fact, to
And
say I don't do it, it's humble.
I don't disagree with you. You know, I don't really agree with science. I don't believe in the Big Bang.
Why not?
It just for something to go bang and then all of a sudden life to appear, just
It wasn't all of a sudden. It took billions of years.
well, billions of years,
Yeah,
yeah.
it took-
But for it all to come together and then
So for life itself to form, according to
Something-
them, it took billions of years.
I guess there must be some kind of life form to make life form.
Exactly.
But
That is where we come into intelligent design.
yeah.
You see, there must be someone who has designed all this, who has planned all this, and who is sustaining all of this
Yeah,
existence.
I definitely believe that's a more, 100% more likely
Okay,
than.
look, if you don't want to call that being God, you
Yeah.
can call it intelligent design if you want.
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
And also, even if I went over to kind of religious where I saw pray to a god, I wouldn't be a religion.
By the way, just because you use the term religion, it doesn't mean we discount science.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Many of the things that I just told you are basically from the scientific
yeah.
background.
I mean,
like for example, the principle of cause and effect is a very scientific method.
Yeah.
Things like all these things come into existence from nothing is not scientific. You see,
See, the way I look at religion is, it's obviously a cult, right?
sorry, it is
The dictionary definition is cult.
it's not a cult. Because
It's cult.
a cult is very different. A cult is where you just follow blindly.
Okay,
a leader.
yeah.
It's not like that in religion. You see, in the Quran,
Oh,
Allah tells us-
the Christian religion.
yeah, no, that's your background. So maybe you're using.
Sorry, Christians,
Please
but
do not judge all
No.
religions based on your background.
no. I've looked at all the religions, and like I said at the beginning, the one that makes the most sense is Islam, without a doubt.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's why you see, look, what is important is the fact that you have looked into it.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have an
yeah.
open mind. And
I'm
you
still
researched
waiting.
it.
I haven't read all the books. I'm
That's
not
fine.
saying that.
That's fine. There is something we call the fitra,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is a natural disposition. So, for a human being, we are programmed to know this intelligent design, this designer, this being, who we call God.
Yeah.
We know that there is something greater out there, which is the cause of all these things. the cause of life, the cause of the universe, the cause of everything that you know, yes, which we call the creation of God.
Yeah.
What you have, you employing that faculty of yours called the fitra.
Okay.
By that you said that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you see, what doesn't make sense is for an atheist to assert that it came from nothing.
Yeah.
Because an atheist who makes that assertion doesn't know what nothing means.
I think I used to call myself an atheist, and then I realised, you know what? I don't not believe in a God. I don't not believe in that. I'm still just completely open-minded.
You're on the fence.
Yeah. I'm not. You know, I am on the fence, but
You should make up your mind.
I kind of make my own things up as well. Like, you know, our souls all come together and we are God.
Absolutely.
That kind of thing.
I mean, look,
I know a lot of people are going, you're nuts.
Every organ of yours.
But every theory's nuts in a way, isn't it?
Remember I told you earlier, there are many things that the scientists cannot solve, which is within themselves.
Yeah.
Their consciousness.
Yeah.
They won't be able to tell you
They
where it came
won't
from.
be able to tell you.
You see, so any atheist, doesn't matter how knowledgeable he or she is, they will not be able to decipher what consciousness is. The reason is that because it's beyond the scope.
It's beyond.
It is something which is immaterial. So from a naturalistic perspective, it is very difficult for them to fathom something which is immaterial.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that if you look at everything within yourself, not only consciousness, look at your eyes, look at your heart, look at the organs within your body. They all function as a unit, as one system. Sorry, not a unit, as one system. And this system ticks along without anyone exerting any sort of power or energy that we see. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So if a scientist or mechanic builds any machinery, they'll have to maintain it. Yes? And it has a period of expiry when it basically dies down.
Okay.
Similarly, we do have expiry dates as well. So whether you're atheist, agnostic, a believer in God, that is one fact no one can deny, that everyone is going to die.
Yeah.
No one can deny that. Whether you're a believer in God or disbeliever, regardless. This is one fact everyone has to agree. So the question to you, sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Mark,
I'm Hashim, by the way.
Yes, Hashim.
Nice talking to you. So Mark, have you ever thought about what happens to you after you die?
I mean, everyone thinks about that sometimes, don't they?
So what did you conclude from your analysis or your thinking?
Right. One idea is that another thing about like us all being sort of God, and when we come together is maybe
All of us being what?
you know all of humanity. When our souls sort of come together, we are God, kind of thing. Yeah. But it's kind. No, this is just my own. Yeah, my own kind of idea.
I'm surprised an agnostic person believes
Like
in
this, like so all our souls and that. There's God in us all. I kind of sort of believe as well. I kind of believe that maybe all animal life, you know, maybe everything, but I don't know.
Have you been looking into Buddhism as well?
No, I just do a general focus on everything. I get as much info as I can.
That is one of the things that the Muslims don't believe. We don't believe that any creation, whether it is human in flesh or as a soul, will become God one day. No. God is not the creation. That is a clear distinction between the two.
God's completely separate
so one
to you.
is the creator, God Almighty, and everyone else is a creation.
But to me, obviously, I'm just Mark, and I thought about it, and I thought, well, maybe we're all God, maybe this, like.
So you think when you die, the souls are going to unite somehow?
No. I think that when we die, maybe I don't really actually believe it, but it's one of my kind of ideas.
Fair enough.
Maybe we come back to Earth.
Okay.
And Earth is heaven and hell, and at the moment it's hell because us lot keep just allowing the banking scum to rule us and keep us in hell. And one day, eventually, we'll come back where hopefully we'll all get together, which hopefully we're kind of doing now with Speaks Corner. I think more and more people are waking up to the real world, and you know, all the lies, you know, we've just been fed through propaganda media.
I understand where you're coming from. So, trust me.
So maybe we come back.
If you knew anything about hell,
maybe we keep regurgitating.
If this is hell, then you don't know the real hell.
No, obviously I don't.
By the way, you're right. Life can be quite difficult.
Yeah.
Some people can go through hell, like the saying goes.